Welcome to Abu Dhabi. Today we're going to be flying one of the most impressive products in the sky, Etihad first class apartments on board this beautiful A380. Etihad took their A380s out of service during the forgotten years, but brought them back when travel demand well exceeded expectations when the world reopened. Our flight today will be a quick jaunt over from Abu Dhabi to London on one of its first routes back using the A380. This is a bucket list item for me, and we also get to experience the brand new Abu Dhabi airport. During our flight in Q1 of 2024, the Abu Dhabi airport was so new that it was actually only called Terminal A. It was actually renamed on the date that we were flying to Zayed International Airport.
As you would imagine, the ground experience at Etihad's global hub while flying first class is exceptional. First class and business class passengers departing from Abu Dhabi have a separate area to check in, with first class being tucked away at the very back of the premium check-in area. The first class check-in area is akin to a small lounge. We were welcomed in after we handed over our passports and directed to sit and relax in one of the many oversized chairs. The entire check-in experience was seamless. We were offered drinks as we sat down, and the staff took care of all of the check-in formalities. After check-in, we were whisked away to a designated first-class immigration and security checkpoint. I honestly think we spent longer putting our bags on the conveyor belt than all of immigration and security combined.
After the most impressive immigration and security screening ever, you are deposited back into the beautiful Zayed International Airport amongst the proletariat. Take a moment to appreciate just how beautiful this airport is in terms of decor, natural light, and openness.
We made our way to the Etihad First Class Lounge nestled near Gate C27. This lounge is also brand new, and perhaps it was a bit too tranquil. This lounge is situated above the Business Class Lounge, which we will take a look at just before we board. The First Class Lounge has tons of different seating options, from lounge chairs, sofas, quiet areas, and formal dining tables. We spent most of our time in this lounge at the dining table, as the a la carte dining menu and the made-to-order dishes are by far the highlight of this lounge, in addition to how quiet and empty it is.
When we first arrived, the lounge was still serving breakfast, so naturally we started with some Arabic coffee along with some dates. The breakfast menu was already quite impressive. I ordered the poached egg shakshuka, and Kelly ordered the masala dosa. As you can see from the menu, the lounge has lots of other offerings and a wide variety of international dishes that you could try. We wanted to allocate more stomach capacity to the lunch and dinner offering while also saving space for the onboard meal. So as you can see, it is a very delicate and tricky balance. Both were delicious, restaurant quality, and we wish we could have eaten more meals in this lounge.
After our breakfast, we took a stroll through the brand new terminal to get some steps in and to try to make some room for lunch. The lunch menu has quite a few offerings as well, and we started with some Arabic meze, as is tradition. I ordered the robian tata, which is a prawn and rice dish, and I got the kunafa for dessert. Kevin ordered the beef tenderloin and the chicken supreme, and he finished it off with the chocolate budino. Literally all of the dishes were fabulous. If we ever find ourselves in the position to fly Etihad first class again, we will skip our hotel breakfast. Our 2 meals in the lounge are honestly better than so many fancy restaurant meals that we've had.
Of course, in addition to the a la carte offerings, there were some quick bites that were served buffet style, where guests helped themselves. Perhaps one of my favorite areas of the lounge is the water bar. Far too many airports and airlines put alcohol on a pedestal. It was lovely to see a presentation of water, and Voss water at that.
As we neared our boarding time, we went to the business class lounge to check that one out. It was similar to the first class lounge, with the exception that it was much larger while having higher density seating, and with the decor being a step below first class, which makes sense. The food here was served buffet style, and I don't think there is an a la carte dining menu. However, the food still looked pretty good. And while we didn't spend much time here, it definitely still looks like a nice place to wait for a flight.
One of the best things about flying a Middle Eastern carrier out of its hub in an A380 is having the ability to board directly from the lounge. Just look at this fantastic view of this flying whale from the jet bridge. Since we were first class passengers, we were notified in the lounge by an attendant and we were amongst the first passengers on the plane. It's quite the first world problem when you're flying first class, but you also step below the other passengers who are flying the residence. Each Etihad A380 has one residence, where it's essentially a 3-room suite with a living room, an ensuite bathroom, and a full bedroom, with an entire bed and pillows. These seats are not bookable via points, but stay tuned to the end, where I'll tell you how to get a seat at Etihad apartments and how to get a chance at staying in the residence.
Stepping on board, we were first greeted by a super friendly crew, and then we were shown to our apartments. The cabin is in a 1-1 layout with the residence up front, across from the main lavatory and shower. That's right, there is a shower on board, and you bet we are going to experience what showering at 30,000 feet feels like. I was sitting in 4A, and Kevin was sitting ahead of me in 3A. It's important to note that if you're flying as a couple, it's in your best interest to book seat pairs 3A 4A or 3K 4K. That's because the walls between these seat pairs can be pulled back, semi-connecting the two apartments together. If you're a solo traveler, then I would recommend you book the same seats because they're the only ones that are closer to the window than the aisle. And now, after we got settled into our rooms, the flight attendants came by to offer some more Arabic coffee and dates. Absolutely scrumptious.
Once everyone boarded, we pushed back for an on-time departure and blasted down the runway. As always, having an onboard camera is the best form of entertainment for a nav geek like me. Being able to watch this whale take to the skies was breathtaking. We also flew over Abu Dhabi Circuit, the home of a particular infamous incident.
Oh no! Nicholas Latifi has crashed, and I think that is at turn 14. That will be a safety car.
Now that we are in the air, let me give you a tour of the apartment and everything that comes with each seat. First, just take a moment to appreciate the sheer amount of space allocated to each passenger. Since Kelly and I had adjoining suites, we had even more space to ourselves. As you can see, each first class passenger flying Etihad apartments gets a couch that turns into a bed, along with an oversized seat where you will dine and watch the world go by. Of course, to round it all off, the doors of your apartment close, giving you one of the most private and secluded flying experiences in commercial aviation. I also love the apartment-esque light fixtures by the doors. Back at your seat right in front of you is admittedly an out-of-date IFE bed and sofa. Underneath the bed is actually more space meant for storage. Each seat also comes with a super soft and comfortable blanket. Directly next to you is your IFE controller, seat controls, HDMI, and USB connection. Under the armrest is a super heavy and large dining table, which the FAA said to not take out ourselves because it's so dang heavy. The window shades can be automatically controlled with the push of a button, which is super convenient given how far the windows can be from you.
In addition to the blanket, each seat also had a pillow. During our flight, the FAs offered to turn our sofas into beds. We actually rejected that since we were not planning to sleep at all and didn't want them to waste their time and effort turning the room down. We just set up our own little bed for demonstration purposes, but just know that the real turn-down service will contain proper mattress pads, pillows, and duvets, so much more comfortable than what you're seeing here. Also next to your seat, there's an entire vanity and even a cooled mini fridge stocked with Voss water and some drinks. At the time of this flight, which was in February 2024, Etihad was partnered with Acqua di Parma for their amenity kits. These amenity kits come in a classy yellow leather case, and it's chock full of goodies. Toothbrush, sanitizing wipes, cologne, lip balm, lotion, hand sanitizer, eye mask, and a pair of socks. Note that unlike some first class seats, Etihad does not provide different amenity kits for men and women, so everyone will get the same set. Flying first class on Etihad also comes with a pair of pajamas which you can take home. These pajamas are made of a super smooth, soft, comfy material. Compared to the other pajamas we've tried from airlines so far, which are ANA, Qatar Airlines, and EVA Airlines, these have the most premium feeling fabric. Etihad says that their pajamas are inspired by traditional Emirati clothing. All I can say is these pajamas were so comfortable and also pretty stylish. I actually wore them to the airport for our next flight from Frankfurt to Montreal. Once we took off, we were welcomed with a glass of champagne and some nuts, feta cheese, and olives.
Okay, now compare it with mine.
This is the rosé. This is the fruit. I don't know if it's because my nose is not working properly, but neither of these taste that bad. I think these might be the best, aka the least worst champagnes I've tasted. Then the meal service started, with caviar of course. I love that Etihad serves their caviar with real mother-of-pearl spoons. It came with the usual blini, eggs, sour cream, and onions. The blini were pretty dry, but can't complain, we're having caviar in the sky. There's a big selection of alcoholic drinks on board, from wines, cocktails, spirits, to beer. Etihad is definitely not a dry airline. There are also a few mocktails. Kevin got this beautiful butterfly pea drink, which he really enjoyed. Later, he also tried the mango mojito, which was equally delicious.
For the appetizers, we shared an Arabic meze and a harira soup. We were still hella full from the meal in the lounge, and obviously the food from the lounge is generally always a lot better than food on the plane, but these starters were beautifully presented and the taste was nothing to complain about.
For mains, I went with the cheese agnolotti, while Kevin, of course, ordered the Middle Eastern rice dish TM, which in this case was camel kofta. The cheese agnolotti was nothing special, to be honest, but Kevin really enjoyed his kofta. No surprise there because you will never go wrong ordering the Middle Eastern rice dish TM. Dessert was ice cream for me and chocolate torte for Kevin. Both of these were tasty, but unfortunately my ice cream, even though it was plated beautifully, it looks like it's already melting in the video, it was actually rock hard. It took forever to soften. Since this is a shorter flight, there was only one official meal service. However, there is a lounge and grill menu, which is dine on demand. It features most of the same items from the main a la carte menu, plus some extra snacks. Kevin got the steak frites, which were just okay. He reported that the steak wasn't very good. As you can see, it's a bit rubbery. Meanwhile, I tried the red grouper with fondant potatoes. I thought this was just okay too. It was a tad under-seasoned, but the fish was well cooked. Overall, I think the food on Etihad First Class is served beautifully, and it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of presentation. However, it's one of those cases where I think the food looks better than it tastes. Not that it doesn't taste good, but it just doesn't have any wow factor. That being said, the food in the lounge is incredible. I still dream about that shrimp rice dish sometimes. It's hands down the best meal I've ever had in an airport.
And generally from what we experienced from flying, like a high tier lounge will always have better food than on a plane because of just the sheer
for sure.
physics of being on a plane.
Yeah.
So,
and I think Etihad food was pretty good for being in the plane still. It's just you can't compare to on the ground.
yes. And I think there's a limit and like a cap of how good airplane food can be on a plane. We always go to the extra mile to try to save space and always try to eat on the plane. This is just to, have the full experience. But if you were someone who was flying for pure enjoyment, I would say stuff yourself in the lounge and then just enjoy the flight, maybe go to sleep instead of, dealing with the tray table or like dealing with the food on board. The lounge food was absolutely fantastic. And I would say you don't need to try the food on board if you got to eat everything you want in the lounge.
100%.
Now that we're stuffed beyond belief, given all the food we had in the lounge and on board, it's time to show you the piece de la resistance. Arguably the most insane feature on board Etihad First Class A380 and Emirates A380 are the showers. If you're flying the residence, get your own ensuite shower and bathroom. Whereas if you're a proletariat like us, you have to share the shower suite with the rest of the first class passengers. There are 2 lavatories for first class passengers. The first one is a standard bathroom without shower. It's very spacious, clean, and stocked with aqua de Parma amenities. I would recommend this one for regular bathroom needs, just because it's more spacious and it's quite pretty. The lavatory with the shower is noticeably smaller, so I would only recommend using this one if you're taking your shower. Nevertheless, this is our first time showering on a plane, and it is just a surreal feeling to walk onto the jet bridge at your destination feeling fresh and new. Each passenger is asked upon settling down when they would like to take their shower, and you're given 5 minutes of hot water and 30 minutes time slot in the shower suite. There also needs to be a shower attendant that sets up and prepares the shower suite for each guest. When your shower appointment comes, the suite is already set up nicely for you with a towel on the ground, the water is hot, and the water pressure is not terrible. After our showers, we descended into dreary London, wishing that the flight would never end. This was truly a special flight and one that I will always remember. The hard product is really starting to show its age, but the service, amenities, the space, and the comfort makes it one of my favorite products in the sky, doubly so if you're flying with someone that you know. So what did this apartment in the sky cost us? For the two of us, we paid 164,000 Aeroplan points for this flight from Abu Dhabi to London and $167 in taxes and fees. While the CPP isn't as high as they are in a first class redemption, this was just as special. So stay tuned for that video as we continue to document our travels using the power of points.